Welcome to Missed Opportunities for Good, the podcast where we open up the space to have conversations about trends and campaigns at the intersection of marketing, advertising, and impact.
Hi, I'm Alana Ficalora.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Belsky.
We're social impact strategists, colleagues, and friends who are on a mission to revolutionize the industry we love.
Today, there's a lot of virtue signaling, greenwashing, cause washing, pinkwashing, or companies saying nothing out of fear of getting it wrong.
So true. Whether it's a moment or a movement, it still has to be real. It has to be authentic and aligned with the brand, not just performative. It's about the action being taken that goes along with the messaging.
So we're here to highlight who's doing it well, what could be done better, and how companies can stop leaving money and the potential for real social change on the table.
We're late recording this month due to the escalating situation in Israel and Gaza. We were not in a place to record on our original record date last week, and we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge all the innocent lives lost since the horrible attack over a week ago now.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, yet so far we've not seen any brands really acknowledging this, and those that are seem to be pinkwashing more than making an impact.
And while we generally like to focus on branded impact campaigns, we'd also like to acknowledge that we've seen some really powerful PSAs that have come out over the last few weeks to build awareness for some incredibly meaningful causes and showcase the important nonprofits doing this impactful work. We'll include the links in the show notes.
Sandy Hook Promise came out with a really powerful PSA called Just Joking, which featured some incredible comedian talent talking about gun control and using verbatim messages that were given by shooters at school shootings. It's really powerful. We'll link to it.
Monica Lewinsky addressed National Bullying Prevention Month with a really impactful PSA titled Stand Up for Yourself to educate and raise awareness for bullying prevention.
And what I really loved about the Monica Lewinsky spot is that it was bullying against ourselves, because we as individuals can be the biggest bullies of all. The last one that we wanted to point out was Detect Together, which was all about cancer awareness. And it was really interesting to see a bunch of firefighters singing and dancing in order to raise awareness for cancer and early detection.
And in that, these PSAs are truly impactful on themselves, and nonprofits are funding these on their own. But again, missed opportunities really is a missed opportunity for brands to partner with these nonprofits and potentially stand behind and support them in not only their causes, but in creating the content to advertise these messages. For example, in Monica Lewinsky's bullying PSA seems in line with a lot of the work that comes out of Dove and the Detect Together conversation around cancer. Maybe that could have been paired with a men's care brand like a Gillette or Harry's or Everyman Jack. So many options, really.
Exactly. And along those same lines, Alana, Sandy Hook Promise could have easily teamed up with somebody like Comedy Central and Viacom. And maybe they did to help promote the Just Joking. But there's a lot that brands can be doing to support these powerful messages, if only they're willing to be brave.
Absolutely. Keyword brave these days, huh? On today's episode, we'll explore the latest campaigns from Cotton On, NFL, Crucial Catch partnership with Sleep Number, and Who Gives a Crap as they reimagine a classic childhood favorite. Before we get into it, let's do a quick review of our criteria.
Number 1, alignment.
2, partnerships.
3, call to action and transparency.
4, engagement.
And lastly, optimization and amplification.
And with that, Steph, do you want to kick us off on our first campaign?
I would be happy to, Alana. So Our first campaign is the partnership between Cotton On, which is an Australian clothing brand, Born This Way Foundation, which was co-founded by Lady Gaga and her mom, Cynthia, to build a kinder, braver world, and also jack.org, which we'll get into in a minute. But what we saw is a great video which features Lady Gaga talking about a kinder world while wearing different pieces from the collection of Cotton On products and also Born This Way Foundation products. It reminds us kind of like throwback vibes to filming in the 80s, the 90s. They use a different kind of filter for the video, and that's definitely talking to a younger audience. The voiceover says, "A kinder, braver world to me is one that leads with kindness and bravery. How can we always come from a place of love for each other? How can we always try to do the harder thing?" I think that what I love the most about the Born This Way Foundation and Cotton On working together is that we care about the lives of young people. This generation of young people has taught me that it's really important to listen. She goes on to talk about how listening to young people tell their stories is really invaluable and helps us learn how we can help people and meet them where they are. And so, it's a really exciting campaign. Born This Way Foundation announced their partnership with Cotton On and the Cotton On Foundation with the goal of raising $5 million to support youth mental health globally. So, all really good stuff, and excited to jump in.
Lovely. All righty. Alignment. Is the impact aligned with their brand values and goals?
Yeah, so Cotton On is a youth-oriented brand and foundation who always puts the voices of young people and students front and center. Their brand also focuses on issues that help youth around the world to thrive, including holistic education, mental health, and environmental causes. So this partnership was kind of a no-brainer, and obviously Cotton On can produce the physical products that Born This Way Foundation has created in conjunction with them.
And talent influencer partnerships. Obviously, Lady Gaga is a part of Born This Way Foundation, so there's clearly alignment there. But talk about the strength of alignment of Born This Way in conjunction with Cotton On.
For sure. So Lady Gaga's Born This Way Foundation, as we mentioned, offers programs and initiatives aimed at demonstrating the power of kindness to impact well-being while validating the emotions of young people everywhere and eliminating the stigma surrounding mental health. So obviously, having this partnership around youth brands focuses on supporting youth-led organizations is very much aligned with all entities involved.
Lovely. And connected, similar but different. Nonprofit partnership. What about the strength and alignment of that partnership and the monetary investment involved?
So there's, 100% of net proceeds from the collaboration of Born This Way Foundation and Cotton On Foundation products will support the Born This Way Foundation in sharing mental health resources for the whole month of September, from September 1st till October 10th, which, as we know, October 10th was World Mental Health Awareness Day. And what's interesting is that Cotton On and Born This Way Foundation are calling on young people and their communities to learn how to be there for someone by earning their Be There certificate, and also nominate local mental health organizations in 9 different countries: Australia, Brazil, Hong Kong, Malaysia, New Zealand, South Africa, Thailand, the UK, and the US, to receive a Kindness in Community Fund grant in order to further their work. And selected nominated organizations will receive funding for up to $150,000 US dollars per organization. And so that could be, Born This Way Foundation is and the Cotton On Foundation has a collective goal to raise $5 million US in order to better support youth mental health organizations across the globe. So, with $150,000 US dollars going to various organizations, you can see that the impact that they can make is huge and exciting.
Absolutely. And I think the fact that Cotton On has a foundation to begin with is saying a lot for a clothing company, and that they're known to have support different causes over time and have a full-on separate shop to not only sell product that the proceeds get donated, but they also have an opportunity on that webpage to make direct donations as well and correlate that to the impact that you can have. Great. Follow through. Is this a one-off donation or a long-term campaign?
So the Cotton On Foundation has a history of supporting a variety of initiatives and nonprofits. And actually, this particular campaign was launched over a year ago by the Born This Way Foundation. And Cotton On is really helping with the global expansion of the campaign and to amplify it. So luckily, this is not a one-off. It is going to be a long-term campaign for the Born This Way Foundation. And hopefully Cotton On will only help to grow it.
Awesome. Call to action. Is there a call to action? Is it obvious or subtle?
Yeah, so we haven't really talked about it that much, but there is a certification program called the Be There Certificate. It is a free course and certification that was created by jack.org, which is actually a youth-based nonprofit in Canada. There have been different adaptations of this certification course and program in order to reach a global audience, not just Canadian residents. So really exciting to see that there is a whole class being offered for free mental health resources and support in order to show young people how to be there for one another in times of mental health and crisis. And the additional call to action is to nominate an organization for that $150,000 kindness and community grant. So there will be a selection of nominated nonprofits that will be selected by the Born This Way Foundation Advisory Board and announced in early 2024. And then those organizations will have the opportunity to submit an additional grant proposal to receive up to $150,000 in funding.
I also think it's interesting that this call to action is not in the video itself, that it's always in the text, but it's very clear in the text that goes along with the videos in the different places it was posted, but they didn't include it all in the video and let Lady Gaga's video kind of speak for itself with just her VO, which I found would be really powerful in and of itself in its own way. And obviously very timely given the state of the world at the moment as well. Transparency. Is the messaging clear around the impact they're planning to make?
So as of today's recording, I did a little bit of snooping and I saw that the Born This Way Foundation posted the following on their social media. It says, because of your support, we have received nearly 2,000 nominations for the Kindness in Community Fund grants. We have encouraged 3,000 plus people globally to sign up and earn their Be There certificate, and officially crossed over 30,000 certificates earned globally as of our launch 1 year ago. So clearly they are being extremely transparent about the impact that they're making, whether it's these grant nominations or the certificates that are being delivered, because of the course. It's great to see that they're being so open and authentic and letting people know this is where your money is going and this is the impact that we're making.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, Cotton On brands, the Cotton On Foundation and Born This Way Foundation's goals, again, is to raise $5 million USD through their partnership, making us one of the biggest corporate contributors to global mental health resources and support in 2023. Now, that's a bold statement.
Yep.
And and I hope that they have the dollars to back that up, and that they actually tell us how much they were able to raise. Hopefully they surpass that goal. But if you're going to make a bold statement like that on your website, then you need to back it up.
Absolutely. Customer and community engagement. I mean, it sounds like there's lots of ways for consumers to get involved, and that's who it's completely directed towards.
Absolutely. So you said it. I mean, encouraging their young customers and these young activists to nominate their favorite youth supported mental health organizations, shop for good through the foundation products, and or even make a donation to the campaign directly. They're also encouraging and are seeing a response for the Be There course and certification in order to help a friend or loved one who's struggling with mental health learn how to set healthy boundaries for ourselves and the importance of self-care. They also, I noticed, have been doing these in-person hashtag channel kindness storytellers clubs in Los Angeles with the Born This Way Foundation advisory board members, as well as a couple of other different cross-promotional opportunities and event activation. So it's really nice to see that this is translating offline from online, and that you're getting that impact across the board.
Absolutely. Being able to see any of this in real life is always, especially when it comes to mental health, is definitely very important. On that note, cross-promotion, sure. Was there any cross-promotion utilized to increase the impact?
Yeah, so there's lots of really great supplemental branded content on all the social media channels for each of the entities, which is great to see. I'd also mentioned that they're doing in-person events, and there was also an in-person pop-up at the Westfield Century City in LA happening, I believe it was September 26th through October 10th. And I was pleased to see that there's another collaboration partnership with Pinterest. And there is a new Pinterest board specifically dedicated to the campaign. And that collaboration actually has lent to the extension of the quote unquote Kinder, Braver, Together campaign through November 13th, which is World Kindness Day. So you can see that this is an ongoing, living, breathing campaign, and that they are encouraging other brand partners to get involved, specifically Pinterest as a media partner, but being able to combine resources and to make this a even better campaign.
Absolutely. And I've heard a lot talked about that Pinterest is a very popular media choice for the younger generation. So it's a very smart partnership on their part to reach that audience.
1000%. Yeah.
And another fun fact in terms of cross promotion, I personally had originally found out about this campaign through someone I follow on LinkedIn, Keely Catwells, who is an incredible human on their advisory board. She had posted a photo with a bunch of other young people in the Born This Way Foundation Cotton On gear. And so I wonder if those are part of the advisory board members that will be selecting these organizations or what their part was in this. But I think that they then distributed this messaging through all of these partners as well, which is pretty cool. And
love it.
Visibility, is this messaging on the homepage?
So it's not on the cottonon.com US page. And surprisingly, it was also not on the Born This Way Foundation homepage. but you can learn about the initiative on each of the sites. You just have to do a little bit of digging, but Cotton On Foundation does a good job of placing the campaign front and center. They said this is our biggest campaign to date, and they're really proud of the work that they're doing. So you would think that they would give a little bit more real estate to this campaign on their homepage.
Yeah. Missed opportunities here besides having some more visibility. What did you see as an opportunity for greater impact?
So I think you mentioned it earlier, right? That there's a very clear call to action in the description of the video on YouTube and on the homepage where the Lady Gaga spot was featured. And so, even just one call to action to have, even just I think they show the different logos of each of the organizations that are involved, but there's no real direct call to action telling people, nominate an organization that you love.
Or even just sending them to the website so they can learn more.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And, honestly, that probably came down to, well, where do we send them? Right? Do we send them to Born This Way Foundation? Do we send them to Cotton On? And I'm sure that there was some touchy conversations about who was getting the traffic. But in the end, if this is for a good cause, which it is, just make a decision and go.
Yes. Also would be interesting, and I don't know if they did do this and we just didn't see anything about it, but it would be interesting to see them do a partnership with MTV's Mental Health Action Day that they run every year. And this may have launched after that date, but it seems like the audience would be completely aligned and that would be an incredible partnership, maybe even for next year, for them to continue the conversation.
Absolutely. All right, Alana, case study number 2, please. Introduce it. Let us know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So this is interesting. The NFL and Sleep Number and American Cancer Society are partnering together for this one. It's a little all over the place because there's 3 groups that are part of it, and each of them have their own relationships that have worked together for different amounts of time. NFL's Crucial Catch mission is to fight cancer through early detection and risk reduction. NFL has really taken this on as their cause, and they have engaged their different clubs, players. The Players Association have been working with American Cancer Society for quite some time to help provide individuals with tools they need to better understand early detection and reduce cancer risk. So the NFL does have a specific game that they refer to as the Crucial Catch game, which is where this is really featured. And it's also when they honor cancer survivors and currently those battling cancers. This year, Sleep Number is also supporting Crucial Catch and being a part of this. Sleep Number strangely also has a very strong partnership with apparently 80% of the NFL players sleep on Sleep Number beds. I don't even know how that's possibly true, but apparently it is.
Who knew?
I don't know if they're giving them to them or what's happening, but that's a weird fun fact. So Sleep Number, it seems seems to be behind the building of this program that they've called the Defender to help people. They answer a couple quizzes and it recommends kind of screening opportunities and resources and all of that. If you have cancer related questions, there's a 24/7 chat hotline through American Cancer Society. So you can go in and take this online assessment. And if you do, then, you get a discounted Sleep Number because everything still drives more product. The only creative I could really find around this lived on social media. It's not great campaign in terms of media. Not going to lie. Yeah. It's sort of cross-posted on talent accounts, but it depends where the videos are originating from. There's some UGC videos. There's some, I don't know. It's a little messy. I'm not going to lie. American Cancer Society Instagram has some. Sleep Number has a little bit. NFL has nothing. So we'll get into more of that later. But in theory, this is an interesting partnership to help amplify the work of American Cancer Society.
For sure. All right. Well, then let's go through our criteria, shall we? talk to me about alignment. Is the impact aligned with the brand values and goals? Why or why not?
Yeah. So, an interesting quote actually I found from Sleep Number's CEO on why this makes sense is she said, championing early cancer detection and prevention initiatives through the Defender is closely tied to Sleep Number's purpose, which is to improve the health and well being of society through higher quality sleep. And that simple lifestyle changes like prioritizing sleep can have a meaningful impact on risks for certain types of cancers. I'm not arguing that that's true. It's an interesting approach and one that is not often talked about. And so,
Right.
obviously it takes all of us to end cancer. And so why not get a good night's sleep and help hopefully reduce inflammation and the opportunities that it presents in that sense? So great for them to take this cause on. The NFL Foundation has a number of cause areas that range from youth football programs to health and safety to character education, grassroots programs, and community. NFL has partnered specifically with American Cancer Society for over a decade, since 2009, so quite some time, and have been specifically addressing early detection and risk reduction efforts. So this is no new partnership for them, and they also have since 2012 funded the ACS Community Health Advocates, which implements nationwide grants for empowerment and equity. So they've really been deep in this issue area and supporting it in a wide variety of ways. And then they also give individual grants to the different teams to support related activities in their local communities, which we'll get into later.
Great. Okay, so clearly not a one-off partnership, but we'll get into that. So then the talent and influencer partnership side of this, what is the strength and alignment of that partnership?
Yeah, so inherently it comes with a slew of NFL players. Sleep Number already had their own partnership with the NFL. So that's what I was mentioning about the 80% of players sleeping in these beds.
Yep.
Again, fascinating.
Yep.
And in that, they also have a 4-year sponsorship deal with the Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott. Ironically, Dak Prescott is also a global brand ambassador for the American Cancer Society. So
beautiful.
He's already very aligned for 2 organizations that are already working together. So this is great across the board in that sense. And so the NFL and Sleep Number are collaborating on sleep research that is correlated to cancer prevention and recovery, which is kind of interesting. And they're also providing beds in the American Cancer Society Hope Lodges. And I believe that's where all this research is taking place. So that's kind of interesting. In terms of the distribution of these videos on these talent social channels, ACS has one graphic that has a number of players, yet only a few players have actually posted anything or shown anything related to this. On Sleep Number's Instagram, you see Justin Jets Jefferson, who plays for the Vikings, and Jamar Chase, who plays for the Bengals. And then on American Cancer Society's Instagram, there's also a note about our Super Bowl sweepstakes with Alyssa Milano. So there's more talent involved who doesn't, I don't know what her correlation really is there. I didn't get that deep into that, but it does even go beyond the NFL players.
Fascinating.
Yep.
All right, great. And obviously the nonprofit partnership, seems like NFL and ACS has had a partnership for a while, but talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so the NFL has 3 ways that they're currently raising money for American Cancer Society. They have a Super Bowl sweepstakes where you can donate a minimum of $10, pretty low barrier to entry, to win a chance of VIP Super Bowl experience for you and a friend, which I guess is the time with Alyssa Milano. They also have this Crucial Catch program where they sell NFL Crucial Catch gear. Unclear how much of the purchase price is getting donated to ACS. This one seems a little dodgy. Didn't really make sense to me. And then there's an auction, which seems to be popular these days from the other campaigns we've been analyzing, where you can bid on authentic game-worn items. This, they do note that all proceeds from the auction, so 100% of the money raised from these sales, goes straight to the NFL Foundation and gets directly allocated to the American Cancer Society. So that's pretty great. And then there, weren't great details beyond that with Sleep Number and their partnership with ACS. But
interesting fact about their sweepstakes. No donation is necessary for entry into a sweepstakes. So loophole, friends, even though we want you to make a donation to the American Cancer Society in order to participate, you technically do not have to make any donation. So I hope they made that abundantly clear on their website.
Gotta read.
All right. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Follow through. So is this a one-off donation, or are we talking about a longer-term campaign?
As we mentioned, it is a long-term campaign. The NFL has been working with ACS since 2009, and they've raised more than $27 million for health centers in under-resourced areas of the country so far. And then I think while Sleep Number is a slightly newer partner to American Cancer Society, it does seem like it is a more long-term partnership.
For sure. Okay, great. And call to action. Tell us about the call to action. Subtle, obvious, what's happening?
Ironically, it is pretty obvious. The videos are underwhelming in themselves, but the call to action is very clear. The players read clearly from a teleprompter to check out the defender, assess your cancer risk, and get prevention tips and find local screening resources, and to visit NFL.com. Crucial catch. You couldn't get more direct and obvious on the call to action. The delivery is just underwhelming at best.
Yeah, fair enough. But hey, it's there, which is good, especially for an older audience, right? Who probably won't take the time to do the research that we do to figure out what the heck the call to action is. So good for them. All right. What about transparency? Is the messaging clear around the impact that's being made?
I would say, generally speaking, yes. In that we know that there's a partnership and they're donating money. The exact numbers of the donation at this very moment does not seem to be particularly obvious. It seems more driven by the action being taken to get screened and activations and things that are happening otherwise.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. And customer community engagement, aside from buying more Sleep Number beds, how are they engaging customers and community?
The real push here seems to be to encourage people to get screened. I think they're using these avenues, specifically the NFL, to encourage a diverse audience to take those necessary steps to do preventative screenings versus finding out after it might be too late. And then obviously, supporting the cancer research as well with the donations made. And then also leaving it up to the individual clubs, which I think is really interesting in the NFL partnership piece of it, leaving it up to individual clubs to figure out ways that those player ambassadors want to support in their community. And they're having different types of activations depending on maybe their tie to a certain type of cancer or what they feel called to within their individual communities. For example, I saw one of the players, I believe, must have had a tie to breast cancer because he was handing out flowers to women fighting breast cancer in the hospital. And so there were videos of him walking around handing out flowers, and that seemed to be his passion. So I think it's interesting that they've led that to the individuals. And then I'd be curious to know if there is anything within a Sleep Number store encouraging any of this at their consumers at the point of purchase, or if it's completely not mentioned at all. But you think you'd be able to have some sort of in-store activation tied to this as well.
For sure. I would hope so. So I guess along those similar lines, cross promotion. Anything to note?
I mean, not really. The videos on the different channels for American Cancer Society, Sleep Number, and NFL are not the same. They don't even seem really correlated to the same campaign. It's a little all over the place. I would hope that there would be other game integrations happening on the field, within fan zones, things like that, as that is a real opportunity to reach people in real life and kind of create a moment in person that can be really impactful. The Sleep Number posts were cross-posted to players' Instagram channels. The ACS ones were not, which is kind of strange. So it seems like there's a lack of distribution, which is a little strange. So I'm hoping that if you're attending games or something in person going on, or if you're attending, in person at a Sleep Number store, that there is more impact somewhere happening around this campaign.
Well, and it's interesting too, right? Like maybe it's not lack of distribution for sure, but also a lack of a cohesive campaign, right?
Yes.
Like if there had been messaging that resonated with both the NFL audience, with the Sleep Number audience, and with ACS's audience, then you could show how all of these entities are working together for this cause and this campaign.
Yeah.
All right. What about visibility?
Womp womp. Once again, unless you're specifically, I mean, maybe this is why their call to action was so clear to send you directly to the webpage, because if you go on Sleep Number, it takes a minute to get there. You have to go to the Learn tab, then you have to scroll down to their partnership section, then you can see the partnership with ACS. But that doesn't even seem to be super clear. And then the video there is not connected to the NFL Crucial Catch campaign. But if you go back to your Learn tab and you go to the drop down, you can find the Crucial Catch campaign. And the first time I did that, I clicked something wrong, and then I was taken to a quiz about a bed. So I don't even know what's going on. It's not as easy to get. You just got to go to know already about the Crucial Catch microsite, apparently. And then on the NFL website, similarly, you have to go to the community tab, go through the drop-down menu, and find Crucial Catch, which is about halfway down in their drop-down. So yes, the NFL supports tons of different causes, but it's slightly more accessible there, ironically, but still takes a minute to find.
Maybe Sleep Number could turn their sweepstakes into a scavenger hunt competition.
What if in the VIP area you could lay in a Sleep Number bed while you watch the game? I don't know what that would have to do with anything, but it sounds relaxing.
Or at your cancer screening, there is a Sleep Number bed that you can take a nap in after.
Well, that's why they put them in that health center, is they actually provide the beds while people are going through treatments to see if that helps. I think they're doing research to see what that impact is on their recovery.
Right.
Or since Swift now is attending games, guess we're just rolling right into our missed opportunities. Get T Swift in on the action and have her support the cause as well.
Anyhow. Of course.
But in all
the answer is always Taylor Swift.
Always. In all seriousness, missed opportunities, more content, better content, more cohesive content. They did do an attempt with UGC. It just doesn't, it could be done better. I mean, it sounds like some of these players do have true connections to cancer survivors and people and loved ones in their families who have fought cancer or lost their battle with cancer. And so I think if they did some like really simple, beautiful documentaries with these players, you could really reach people and pull on heartstrings in a different way and actually tell some genuine, authentic stories that could have an impact.
Yeah. I love that. Thanks so much, Alana. That's some good stuff. All right. Our last case study for this episode. Who gives a crap?
Who does?
Winnie the Pooh.
Interesting combination.
What a killer combo. Or not, but maybe. So let's jump into it a little bit, shall we?
Let's do it.
Who gives a crap has impact built into their core values as a brand. So not only are they a more sustainable option of toilet paper, paper towels, and tissues, their toilet paper is made from 100% bamboo or recycled paper, depending on whichever option you select. 100% bamboo tissues, bamboo and sugarcane paper towels, but they also have always donated 50% of their profits to improving access to toilets and clean water initiatives.
And they're a certified B Corp.
Even better.
Fun fact.
So what are they doing with Winnie the Pooh, Alana?
They have issued a special edition book called Winnie the Pooh, the Deforested Edition, that they made prints of, and you can download the ebook version, which I did to read more about it. We'll put a link in the show notes. But to reimagine this classic story, you remove all the trees. I'm not entirely sure who the audience is meant to be, because there was some controversy online about how this is traumatizing for children. And honestly, I tend to think that these sorts of examples are not actually geared towards children, especially because from what I could tell, the story itself seems to be unchanged. It's just that the pictures are different. Unless I was missing something, and to be fair, it's a very long story and I was scanning quickly, but I kind of wanted the story to be what was changed. to match
Well,
the pictures.
and it's interesting. Yeah. So the company's co-founder, Danny Alexander, said the goal is to raise awareness about deforestation, obviously, and to open up conversation between parents and children about the impact of our daily habits having on the environment and how we can all be a part of the solution. Wow. Okay. So let's dig into our criteria for a minute. What are we thinking about alignment?
I mean, Who Gives a Crap's mission inherently is that they donate 50% of their profits to ensure everyone has access to clean water and a toilet within their lifetime. So they are invested in the community, in providing access to sanitation and clean water. There is a correlation to all that with climate change and deforestation. So yes,
but
aligned-ish, but also in the fact that they do always talk about how many trees are destroyed every year because of toilet paper companies that are not sourcing sustainably or sourcing as sustainably as they could. So I think that's really the point, is they're trying to dig at their competition.
Well, and it's interesting if it's all about access to clean water and toilets, why not choose like The Little Mermaid?
Because the IP might not be available.
Yeah.
But
that's fair. That's fair. It certainly is not.
I have so many other questions.
She would just be a washed up fish.
I don't even know. Beach. Oh goodness. Partnerships.
Yeah.
Thoughts on partnerships? I guess in that sense, the partnership with Winnie the Pooh, but also the nonprofit partners.
Well, no, they didn't partner with Winnie the Pooh because
they just
A.A. Milne estate wants nothing to do with this. Rightfully, I think. I don't know. It's such a classic. I don't know. Whatever. It's no longer copywritten, so they were able to play around with the idea. I get it.
It's a PR stunt.
Yeah, exactly. And Who Gives a Crap acknowledges that they're not experts when it comes to providing proper sanitation for billions of people in need, but they do partner with some incredible organizations on the ground working with local communities to build sustainable and scalable solutions, such as Splash, which is all about bringing water, hygiene, and sanitation services to children in the world's densest cities.
Water and sanitation for the urban poor. They call it What's Up, which works to prepare cities for the inevitable urbanization and address the current lack of services in informal settlements by supporting water, sanitation, and hygiene businesses.
Water for People, which has pioneered the Everyone Forever approach, which means their goal is ensuring every household, school, and health clinic has access to water, sanitation, and hygiene, and the local government has the capacity to maintain these services.
WaterAid, which is one of the biggest international NGOs working to improve sanitation conditions throughout the world. And there's a ton of these. We'll link all these amazing NPOs in the show notes, as I think it's nice to amplify the work that they're doing.
Absolutely. So, call to action and transparency here. I believe a percentage of the proceeds of the book was going to some of these organizations, but
I clarified it, did they?
No, they really didn't.
I think it's kind of this. I think it might just be along the same lines of the rest of their products, which is the 50% rule. They didn't really say that 100% of profits were donating, I believe, or anything like that, which is also interesting.
Well, and they also probably can't even actually sell it because
they did sell it. It said it was sold out. There were a limited number of paper copies, unclear how many, but it was already sold out when I looked, and it doesn't show you what the original price was.
Fascinating.
That being said, there is no call to action in the sense of here's how you can reduce deforestation, or in the same conversations we had about the Amazon and the deforestation, both with Apple and with Samsung, right? Like, here are nonprofits that you can donate to related to deforestation, because even so, all of their nonprofits are related to sanitation and clean water, which is obviously great and aligned with their initial mission. But if you're going to sit here and talk about deforestation, then have a way to address that and for consumers to get involved in that conversation as well, I think, other than just sheer awareness. Sorry, I guess that was more of a missed opportunity than a call to action. And on that note, the transparency was a little unclear. Do you want to talk about engagement?
Yeah, I think at its core, this was a PR stunt. This was meant to bring awareness for what's happening in our environment and, you know, a scare tactic. But I'm not really seeing much more engagement in terms of how customers can get involved or what the communities are doing or anything like that, aside from the nonprofits that are already doing the work on the ground.
Right, which doesn't even acknowledge in terms of deforestation. It's also interesting. I mean, I guess the other engagement is downloading the ebook and reading it. But again, to your point, it's awareness at best, and that's kind of all it dies on that point. And even in that sense, an optimization and amplification, it doesn't really seem like they're doing either of those things. And I think having a call to action and addressing the issue of deforestation in a way that brings people with you beyond just reading a story and having them take action or supporting a cause or providing some sort of resources around that, even if it was a microsite within Who Gives a Crap, because they do have a whole blog where they talk about different things, I think would be useful.
Agreed. All right, so let's wrap up this episode. Were we seeing any real themes around this? We talked about mental health awareness for young people and also cancer prevention. Not really seeing any patterns for this.
But that's fine, because we couldn't find cohesive campaigns around any of the current issue areas. So we were slim pickings and we took what we could get. We're trying.
And I think, again, it's also looking at the influence of celebrities like Lady Gaga, like the NFL athletes, who
like Winnie the
can
Pooh.
make a positive
Winnie the
impact.
Pooh's an influencer.
And Winnie the Pooh. And Winnie the Pooh. There we go.
Yes. That's the tie. It is the talent attached this week. Thank you very much for joining us. And on that note, let's shine a light and learn from those who are doing it well and reduce the missed opportunities for good.
We would love to hear from you. Let us know, what campaigns are you seeing that are doing it well? Who would you like to see us interview? And are you seeing any interesting campaigns that you think we should audit?
Thank you for joining us on our mission to revolutionize the industry that we love.
Missed Opportunities for Good is powered by the love of good and Align for Impact. To learn more, please visit the links in our show notes. Thank you so much for listening.